Welcome, everybody. Week 9 press conference. Week 9's here already. We got Coach Hauck, and we're joined by Levi Janacaro. He's been one of the top 2 tacklers on the team the last 3 weeks and had a career-high 12 at Sac State. And Chris Walker helped Montana rushing game to 200-plus yards in 2 of the last 3 games. And, Coach, we'll start with you. Your final thoughts on the Sacramento game before we look ahead to Weber State.
Okay, just very disappointed. Lost on the road to the number 2 team in the nation in a game where we never trailed till regulation was over. Felt like we had the game in control through the night and, just couldn't catch a break. So it's on to Weber State. Another huge test on the road. They're a good football team. They're tough. They're really big. They're giant up front, particularly on offense. I think they played really well in all 3 phases through the first 2/3 of the season. So be a big test, and we're excited for the challenge and going back to work today.
Questions?
Coach, I know special teams hasn't been up to your standards lately, and where do you think that stems from, and what are you working on moving forward to kind of get that ready for Weber?
Where hasn't it been up to my standard?
Well, some blocked field goal attempts and then a few on the kickoffs.
The blocked field goal attempts, we need to get it off faster. That's simple. What was the other thing?
And then with the squib kick, and then that was just unfortunate, but also, also the onside kick. Just your thoughts with that and where you can prepare moving forward.
What onside kick are you talking about?
Against Idaho.
That's a long time ago, man.
Levi, as Tabor kind of mentioned off the jump, you just have had a couple really productive games recently, and you've had a lot of QB hurries, tackles for losses on third downs, things like that. Has something been clicking for you lately? You've had more playing time this year, but lately, last few games, it feels like you're just playing a lot more sharper.
Hey, time out real quick. Field goal, as I say till I'm blue in the face, is an offensive function. Field goal rush is a defensive function. So, sorry, Kyle, go ahead and ask that again.
Yeah, please.
Just lately, you've obviously been seeing more playing time this year. You saw a little bit of time last year as well, but the last few games you've been really productive. A lot of even non-statistical categories, things like that. So what's been kind of clicking for you in this defense?
I think that my teammates on the defensive side of the ball, the guys that have been in the game at the same time as me, have just been doing their job, which is, they take up some blockers, which has allowed me to be able to make plays. But I think it just stems from the other 10 guys that are doing their part, which allows me to look like I'm the one that's successful, but it's really because of everybody else that I can do my part.
And to kind of piggyback off that, how much has that helped you kind of, especially with pass rush, because it feels like that's where you've been making a lot of plays lately, just kind of getting the quarterback, causing problems there. Has that been a lot of your teammates as well, just kind of maybe opening holes for you, things like that?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys that are up front that are big and athletic dudes that eat up blocks, and so that creates space for me to wiggle in there and try to get a hurry on the quarterback.
Think you stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. Shorty what you want, shorty what you need. My niggas run game, we ain't never leave. Counting up this money, we ain't never sleeping. You got V12s, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got weed, got Molly. I'm all the way up. Shorty what you want, I got what you need. Shorty what you want, I got what you need.
Coach, when you're breaking down Weber State, how much do you play into the game from last week? Because it was such a weird game. I mean, they had the ball for like 3 minutes in the whole first half because of the kick return, punt return, blocked kick, all that stuff. So how much do you take away from last week's game?
Well, it's the most recent game, so it's big in the breakdown. Yeah, I mean, their offense is their offense, their defense is their defense. The flow of the game doesn't necessarily go into the breaking down of tendencies or anything like that.
It seems like one of their tendencies offensively is to have multiple different running backs. How big of a challenge is that when you do have multiple guys? I know a lot of people are running a lot of running backs right now, but they seem to have 3 pretty good ones.
Yeah, I like their backs. I really like their front. I think their backs run hard. I think they've got good quickness. We're familiar with Davis he didn't play the last 2 weeks, so I don't know where that's at. But I mean, they're going to run their offense.
And the quarterback, the last time you guys played, we were a different quarterback. This one, Bronson Barron, he throws the ball down the field a little bit more. How much does that add to their offensive attack?
He's a good deep ball thrower. I think he's accurate down the field. I think that helps him. High completion percentage. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's in the mid-60s, I believe. So he's doing a good job for him.
And defensively, they play a ton of defensive backs. Looks like they're running a bunch of different coverages. How big of a challenge is that to prepare for?
Well, they're going to run different personnel groups. You know, they'll have nickel and dime and do some different things. They're going to run their defense. I'd consider them a strong defensive team. So they're going to do what they do and be good at it.
Bobby, to Coulter's point, kind of seems like the only thing that was holding Weber back from being a contender was the quarterback play. Sorry, I'll try to speak up.
You're good. I can hear you.
I know the quarterback play kind of felt like the only thing holding them back the last couple of years. I'm wondering, just looking at him on tape, what are some of the things that stand out from you to his game as far as it adds to the offense from the last time you saw him?
Well, he's hitting passes down the field, and he's completing a high percentage of them. I don't know how much they're checking or what they're asking him to do. He seems to be doing a pretty good job in the RPO game. So those are the things.
And Chris, obviously Coach just mentioned with the defensive front and the challenges they bring. What have you seen on film? What kind of stands out to you when you look at their front and trying to prepare for them on Saturday?
I mean, both sides of the ball, they look pretty decent. Good team, strong team. Each week is the same. You got to learn from the week before, flush that game, move on to the next. So spend these next few days and learn what we can.
And Coach, we mentioned Weber really being able to throw the ball well, but your secondary had 3 interceptions this last week. How do you feel about the way they've been progressing as the season moves along?
Well, I think our defense has played pretty well throughout the season. If we're getting an interception, a lot of the times it's because the guys up front are putting pressure on the quarterback. And if we get a sack, a lot of times it's because the guys in the back are covering it up and they can't get it out of their hand fast. So I thought our defense played well throughout that game. We gave up a couple of plays late that hurt us, but our defense played well.
In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.
And then, Chris, it seems like the offense is kind of best when you guys get a nice chunk yardage run at the beginning. And just how important and how much of a focus is that for you guys up front to, make room on first down there?
I mean, you could ask any team that question. I mean, get momentum fast, boost the mood of the whole team, and really gets the game going. It's very important.
Chris, you've gotten a chance to assimilate into this offensive line this season kind of from back in the fall. So, what's that transition been like, kind of going into this offensive line and working with this group? Because it feels like lately you guys have been clicking, especially in the run game.
Sure as hell helps having a couple older guys playing next to you. That's for sure. We have a really good group of guys, close. Love my position coach, guys I'm playing with. I mean, I really couldn't do it without them. So.
And against Sac, too, you guys had a couple long drives, especially kind of later as you're running the ball pretty much the whole game. You had some really long physical drives, so you guys were able to cash in for points. Could you notice that you guys are kind of, able to out physical Sac on a couple of those drives there?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good feeling. It goes back to getting the momentum going, and you look to your left or right, see your guys moving their guys. It hypes you up. Keep going. Simple as that.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
And Bobby, you've gotten a chance to work with Malik Flowers just so much in special teams and kick returns and things like that. You know, he broke a record a couple weeks ago. And what's just made him so dynamic at kick return that he's been able to be so productive here?
Well, you know, I'm going to talk about the other guys too, right? They're working hard for him. But Malik's a good returner. He's confident in the return and the guys that are playing with him. And then I think for the most part he sees it pretty well. He has an understanding of where it might break for him based on the call. And so he's pretty fearless in that regard. Had some real nice returns on Saturday, obviously.
Is there anything Weber does that's different offensively than what they've done in past years? You mentioned some of the RPO stuff. Is that new?
Well, gosh, we haven't played him since 2019, so it's a hard question to answer. We haven't thought about him since we played last, which is 2 years ago. It's kind of once again, a quirky deal with our conference. They're very similar to what they've done. I mean, they're similar.
This trip, will you guys bus or will you guys fly?
We'll fly.
Anybody else?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.